Hey guys, Mr. Short Hitter here.
You don't look like a short hitter to me.
Gonna play a little golf today and talk a little bit about average. I think one important key in golf is to hit as many average shots as we can. Little right there. So it's a little wet today. So we may get some mud balls, but we're playing everything down, muddy, whatever it is. Got 123. I'm gonna hit a little 9-iron here. Wind's helping a little bit, so pin's right in the front. So we've got room behind the pin. Should be good. Little left. Kind of looked like it was going at the flag from my vantage point. So from 123, we hit it to 18 feet. So 10% would be 37 feet. So we hit this 5%, with a 5% miss, basically. "5% is an excellent shot for anybody. So guys, when I was a kid, this is before the shots gained was ever talked about. I would go to this field and hit balls, and I would walk off how far away from the target they were to find my percentage error index, which was talked about by Dave Pales way back in the 80s. So it's very similar to strokes gained, but it's just a percentage of your error. We healed that one, so that is going to be really short. Wow. But in the fairway. I think I just hit a drive about 175 yards. Maybe if you don't want to do shot tracking, maybe think in terms of percentages of error. You know, for instance, I look at a 10% shot for me as being about an average shot. 15% is pretty bad. So if I can hit as many 10% shots as possible, I can get around the golf course pretty well. And then you keep that in mind when you're selecting a target. Wind's hurting a little bit. I'm 174 from that pin. So a 10% shot would be 17.5 yards. So we're talking 52 feet from that pin. 175 hurting wind. So I'm going to go with the high wood. Takes a little bit of pressure off when you realize, okay, anything within 50 feet is a good shot here, which essentially would be anything on that green at all, even the fringe. That was struck pretty well. It's still short of the hole, but it's definitely within 50 feet. We hit another 5% shot. These 5% shots are pretty rare, and if we can hit them all the time, we would be shooting under par instead of fighting to try to get our handicap under 1. So again, about 18 feet here. This putt should move a little bit to the left. 18 footers. We're not expecting to make an awful lot of those. About 310 down the hill here. Wind may be helping a little bit, so we should be able to hit a good drive and get a wedge in our hands. The pin is on the right. We'd rather be left, but going down the middle of the fairway gives us the widest margin for error. Should be pretty good. Okay, so wind is helping a little bit, but also blowing left to right. Should help us a little in the next hole. We've got 81 yards. 10% is 24 feet. So anything within 24 feet is a good shot here. 81, wind helping. It's got to be a 54. Now remember, that pin is tucked on the right. We've got 24 feet, so we don't really want to go, and the wind is blowing right. So we actually want to aim this a little left to give ourselves room to hit our average shot and still be on the green. I think we did it. So we got about 16 feet here. Again, very good shot from 81 yards. 16, 20 footers. No one really makes a lot of these unless they're on TV. So you'd like to give it a chance. But the key is just making sure you get out here with your 2-putt. Gave it a chance, and that one I made. Okay, guys, so let's take a look at this. We've got a right to left wind. It's also helping a little bit. 201 to the flag stick. So remember, 10%, 60 feet. So if I can hit this shot 60 feet from the hole, for me, that's definitely a good shot. Which means, as I think about this, I could hit the 3-wood, which will get me there, get me past the pin. Long is kind of wrong here. Or I can hit the high wood because I know I can hit it at least 180 yards with this wind. Plays a little firm in the front at times. So I'll go with the high wood. Feel a little more confidence with this club when I can hit it. If we were a little further out, 206, I probably would hit the 3-wood. Off the toe a little. It's going to be a little short. I still believe it's within our 10%. Matter of fact, I know it's within our 10%. So when you don't have something to carry, I know that most golfers hit it short of the flag, and it's better to hit it short of the flag, especially when you have a blue pin, as long as you're hitting it on the green. If there's nothing to carry in front of the green, there's nothing wrong in this scenario, hitting it just in front of the green. Got an easy little chip shot. So let's get up there. So guys, this ball here only released about 3 yards or so downwind. I didn't hit it great, so it definitely was the club. And if I hit 3-wood and flushed it, it would have been long, which is a tough spot. But I just want you to think a little differently about playing some of these shots to where we want to make sure to hit enough club, but at times, like this, front of the green is not a bad spot at all. You know, one other thing that could have happened, if I would have missed this shot to the right with the high wood, it's more likely that it would have ended up short of that bunker, which is a real bad bunker to hit it into. Guys, the fringe is relatively low here, so I'm probably going to putt this. So we're at 52 feet here, which again is inside of that 10%, which is definitely an acceptable shot. So we're going to see how many shots that we can hit inside that 10%. If you're a mid-handicap or a high-handicap golfer, maybe 10% isn't the number for you. Maybe it's 15%. If you're a person struggling, trying to break 100, then maybe you want to hit all your shots inside 20%. It's going to be different for everyone. If you're Scotty Scheffler, you probably want to hit them all inside of 6%. Wow, that was a bad putt. Almost to the fringe. Funny thing about that is how awful that putt felt is definitely better than a bad chip shot. But it's pretty bad here. We've got 10 feet left. You don't want to hit a 50-foot putt 10 feet from the hole. 10% on the putt would have been good. 50 feet, get that 5 feet from the hole would have been pretty good. Should be pretty straight. Reverse bounce back. So guys, you can even think about this in another way. If you're playing a long hole like today, this hole is going to be playing pretty long for me. It's 370, going to be like 380 to that pin. Uphill, into the wind a little. So it's going to be playing pretty long for me. Looking at the 10% rule, 380. Most likely, we're going to have a shot, say 180 yards or 10% of that, 18 yards, 54 feet. That makes the hole essentially 17 yards shorter. as the target. Okay, we hit it pretty good. And I'm guessing we have 180 yards or so to that pin. Okay guys, I got a little mud on the ball. Got actually further to the pin than I thought. We've got 185. Okay, so that's definitely a 3-wood with this wind, into the wind uphill. If it was a little worse of a lie, I'd probably go with the high wood. Okay, that is a fail. Got 44 yards. We definitely missed our mark there. Way long. So we just flew this ball way beyond where we wanted to. I think it took a pretty hard bounce too. Huh. I didn't see that. So here's a tree I don't think I've ever been behind. Got mud, we've got a lot of things going wrong here. And we've got 60 yards to a green we were trying to hit it just short of. So this was just a drive that was definitely outside of that 10%. We'll hit a 9-iron, we need to carry that rough, get it landed on that fairway. Okay, we got some of the mud off the ball. So we have a little chip here about 30 feet from the hole. Okay, game is sputtering just a little bit. We've got 178 to the pin, 166 to comfortably carry that water. I'm going to take a high wood, give myself a little extra. We've got 10% to play with. 178, 17 yards, that's 195. So there's no way I'm going to hit this high wood here, 195. So we gave ourselves plenty of room. Take it left of the flag. The wind's blowing left to right. Okay, we missed that one. I think it's like left fringe. Not a really good strike there. Okay guys, so 178. Let's see if we're within 18 yards of that flag. We are 15 yards away, so we hit our shot within that 10%. So if we can hit acceptable shots like this all around the golf course, as long as we don't hit it in bad spots, left or right, short-siding ourselves, we're now relying on our short game from spots that are pretty reasonable. And again, this is 10% for me, 10% for a low handicapper. For a mid handicapper, it may be 15, high handicapper, maybe 20. You have to give that some thought when you go out and play. The putt moved more than I thought. Sometimes it doesn't work out for you. Keep plugging away. So guys, I've had 2 holes where my lag putting kind of failed me, and it's kind of makes sense. I'm talking to you about 10%, and then the thing that saves me when I hit it to 10% is failing me. However, we're going to keep plugging along and just keep hitting those 10% shots. Blue pin, 104. green is pretty small, so it's not a lot of room past the pin. Wind is hurting a little and more across. I don't think we can hit a 48. It's going to hit a pitching wedge. The pin's tucked left, so I'm going to take it a little bit right of the flag and take a little bit off of it. Okay, cooked it pretty good. That may be a little short of the hole though. Apparently, guys, we have lost our depth perception. Ball took one bounce and ended up pretty good. Feels like you want it to kind of wiggle right a little, but I don't think there's much there. I'm gonna play this right at that flag stick. Wiggle to the right side of the hole. We're not going to be going for this green. He's got 211. Could I hit a low hook around that tree up there? Possibly, with a better lie. Just not worth it though. We're going to punch a 7-iron up there. Alright, so we're just a little short of the 100-yard marker here. 102 to the flag. It's a pretty hard 48-degree wedge to get there in this cold, so I will hit the pitching wedge. Oh boy, I thought that was enough. So guys, this wind is really swirling. It looks like kind of into me as hard as it was on the last hole. Last hole I thought I was short and I was right on the flag. This hole I thought I was right on the flag and I'm short. Go right to left putt here. Got to hit it harder.
5 holes to go, just play 13.